Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Munir K6AQ, and I'm going to be talking about Winlink today. Um, Basically, it's today is just going to be a general like basic how to how to use Winlink, how to set it up, like how to do all like how to send, receive, um, basic message management, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are going to be relevant for Aries, which is Winlink forms, position reports, and catalog requests as well. And then at the end, we'll do a Q&A. So basically, I'm not sure who here has already downloaded and installed it, but basically, you would go ahead and go to winlink.org in your web browser, and then there's a download link, and then from there it'll show like a file listing, and then you can go in to user programs, and then as of today, this is the file you would be clicking on to download. So I have Winlink open already. So basically it would be this download thing right here, and then okay, there we go. And then you could see where it says user programs right here. That's what you would be clicking on. SciSop programs is, if you were to set up your own Winlink node, that's what you would be going into instead. And sorry. And then once you click on user programs, you would go ahead and click on this Winlink Express install down here. I already downloaded it, so we won't go ahead and do that now. But once you've downloaded it, you'll have this Winlink Express install file on your downloads folder. And then you can extract it by right-clicking. But you can also just, in Windows, you can also just double-click and like view the files in there, and then you can go ahead and double-click on the installer to install. And I think I already did, I think I accidentally actually double-clicked on that. So I already have it installed, so that's not necessary for me to double-click on that. So go ahead, Gary. Oh, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, the space bar didn't work this time. Are you showing this on the screen for everybody else? Are you sharing your screen?
I'm sharing my screen, yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. Is there a protocol I've got to do?
It should automatically go. Let me stop sharing and then restart it again and see if that fixes it. Do you see PowerPoint right now?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
That's good, thank you. I'll mute myself.
Okay. So, and then once you double click on that install file, as you see in Windows 10 just now, it said it was, and it stopped it from running. You would need to, that might not be the case on your guys' machines, but if it is, you can go ahead and there's like I probably shouldn't have closed it, but there was a link that in that pop-up that you could click on to bypass that and actually have the installer run. And then it works like any other Windows installer. Like you click through and you choose, like you accept the terms and conditions, and you you choose what you want to install, etc. And it'll install on your hard drive, I believe in C:/RMS Express by default. I'm not 100% sure offhand if you can choose a different location for that. But yeah, so once that's installed, you'll have like you'll have an RMS Express thing in your start menu, and you can click on that to start the application. And the first time you run it, you'll have it'll walk you through a setup wizard where you put in your call sign and you log in, or like create a new account, or if you already have an account, you can put in the password that already exists that you created before. Alternatively, say if you were using another Winlink client, I haven't tried this, but from the directions on the website, you can go ahead and you can send a message to someone on Winlink from your call sign and without a password, and then it'll send it for the first time, and then when you connect a second time, you'll get a message from the network saying, like, with your new password, and then you can use that in the whatever Winlink client you're using, and you'll need to, because future connections from then on will need that password. Does that make sense for everyone, or? Make sure I'm not. Okay, so I think that makes sense. So well, it sounds like it makes sense to people. Feel free to interrupt if it doesn't. Sorry. Okay, so and then basically after you finish setting it up, it basically looks like a normal, like a lot of stuff is pretty similar to like a normal email client. Like it has the usual like new message, reply to all, and forward. There's a couple of Winlink specific things that I haven't seen in most other email clients, and that's acknowledge receipt and forward without change. So acknowledge receipt. I'm not sure if anyone's had a chance to like start with the March Winlink drill yet, but one of the setup things in the Winlink drill is to auto acknowledge emails by default. So if you see like let me see if I can, like something that starts with an ACK here, that's basically what your client will automatically send out if you enable that option. And if you could also specifically like acknowledge receipt here if you don't already do that. And then the other thing that's similar to your email is that like you can organize your folders as well. So like you could set up personal folders for like if you want to organize your emails in various categories. And then you also have the typical inbox, outbox, deleted items, etc. And then one other difference with Winlink is that, unlike with a normal email client, if you push send, it doesn't immediately go on the internet to send a message. It batches them up in the outbox, and you have to go in and do the open session right here to create a session to like connect to the Winlink network and send and receive emails. And then there's multiple different types of sessions that are possible. Like what we're going to be talking about mostly tonight is Telnet, which does go out over the internet. But there's also various protocols for VHF and HF. For instance, Packet is what probably most people are familiar with Winlink, but VAR FM is starting to be adopted more and more due to it being faster than Packet in general. And then on HF, there's VAR as well, but for HF. And then there's RDOP and a few others. And then if you happen to have a Pactor modem, that's I haven't tried a Pactor modem, but I hear that they're actually pretty good. In my experience, a lot of the time, the like VAR and RDOP like seem to get through. And then I can go ahead and show you what creating a session looks like with Telnet. So like after I clicked on open session here, you see like a window like this, and inside this inside this is like this white area is what will print out as it's performing the upload and download. And then you can exit to get out of that to close the session. And then there's various settings you can set for like Telnet, as well as the various other like protocols you can use. For Telnet, you don't really need to set anything here. Like the defaults are usually good enough. And then we'll start a download session. So if I go ahead and do that, you can see it's downloading a couple messages right now. Well, it popped up and said that it's going to download 2 messages. And then I can check and uncheck which ones I want to download during this connection,
I see mine's the top one. I just sent it to you during the demo here.
Oh, yeah. So we'll go ahead and download those. And then I haven't sent any messages yet. So like tonight, so it showed 0 sent messages and then 2 received. So if we go ahead and close that, we can look at the message that was just sent. It says tested during tonight's demo, which I got. So cool. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
When you opened the Telnet session, and how did you get the box to click that showed the 2 messages coming in? I've never seen that.
That's something in I believe that it's been a while since I set it up, but it's in if you go to settings, Winlink Express setup.
Okay.
And it says display list of pending incoming messages prior to download.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough. Thank you.
It's an optional setting.
It's particularly useful if you're communicating over RF, because some messages can be like significantly large, and if you're say on HF, that could take quite a while to download. So maybe you'd want to put off downloading that to later, especially if it's say something that's lower priority. Otherwise, without that checkbox checked, you would be downloading all of your messages every time you connected, and that could actually take a while. I also noticed that it seems to like download, if you have a lot of messages, it seems to download the smaller messages first, and then like the final messages that it downloads during the session are the larger messages. That might just be me. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. So yeah, one of the biggest things for ARES was Winlink Forms, and it's basically a system for sending like templates with the common messages, say like ICS 213 or the hospital status report. And it comes with Winlink. You don't need to set anything else additional up, but you do need to have a web browser installed on your computer, because when you actually go and reply to a message or you create a new message with Winlink Forms, it will open your web browser. So actually, let's go ahead and do that. So say, for instance, I want to send an ICS 213. So if you click on the, if you click on the new message over here, and you see a select template here. And if you click on select template, you'll see like this template manager window. And there's 3 separate like areas. There's the standard templates, which comes with every install of Winlink. And then there's global templates, which you can install yourself. And then there's like something where your call sign templates, which is like templates for your own local machine. And then if you expand the standard templates, you see that there's various different categories. So say you want to send like an ICS 213, it would be under ICS USA. And then if you expand that, you see all the various ICS forms. So let's go ahead and click on ICS 213 here. And then once you click on select, it will go ahead and open a new browser tab, or open the browser if it's not already open. And then you get basically a normal like web form. And then you can go ahead and like fill it out, like say Winlink training participants. And then like your from tag or from name and position. And then you can enter a subject, date and time. And then you're like basically all of the stuff that would normally go in an ICS 213. And then once you're done, you can click on submit. It will ask you whether you're okay with submitting. And if you click OK, like the window goes empty, like goes blank. And then you can go back into your enter a new message window. And you can see it attached an XML file here, as well as the plain text version of what you just filled out and inside the body of the email. And then you can go ahead and send out enter who you want to send it out to. Say like, for instance, like drill SDG if you're participating in this month's Winlink training, or rather Winlink drill. And then once you're all done with that, you can go ahead and push outbox. And then you see that there's one in the outbox. And then you can go ahead and if you push send, it sends out the message. Oh yeah, something that also I should mention as well. Not only can you send messages to other hams here, you can also send messages to the wider internet. I believe there's some like caveats to that. So it might not, like for instance, like people from the internet can't send you messages by default unless you whitelist them. And that's designed to block spam and make sure we're following FCC rules, etc. So let's see. Yeah, so see, I sent it to my personal email, and as you can see, like it came from, so I had it, oh yeah, I had it sent to coming from drillaq@winlink.org because I still have the Winlink drill stuff set up. And that's probably something real quick that I probably should have mentioned it before. You can set up various like tactical addresses and different call signs other than your official one. And that's also through the Winlink settings, the same window that had the display list of incoming messages. And to add like a new call sign, you would basically add like, you would go ahead and put the, like what your tactical address you'd want, and you'd come up with a password for it, and then save. And then it will, next time you connect to Winlink, it will sync up with Winlink and it will set up that tactical address to go to you. And then when you're done, you can go ahead and either disable the entry by clicking on edit and clicking edit and clicking on clearing the enabled checkbox, or you can go ahead and just delete it altogether by clicking on remove entry, which I won't do right now.
Can I ask a question at this point?
Sure.
When you were just putting in a new tactical, this last drill, the one that we have finished or are finishing, I went to put my tactical in for that, and it would not accept any of the passwords. And I got a hold of Mike Burton, and he said that all of my passwords were defaulted to one password. Is that a change? Because I've had other tactical passwords and I never had a problem having different passwords for it. But it will only work now with the one password he gave me.
I'm not 100% sure. The like I actually don't recall what I set my password to. It might have been something that got like when like you contacted Mike to have it reset. That might have been something that happened with that. But honestly, I'm not
Okay.
100% sure on that.
I mean, I went ahead and put that password into everything and it all works fine. So I'm okay with it, but I just wondered what changed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, like in theory, you should be able to have different passwords for different ones in case you want to hand
right.
off tactical. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd always done before, but now it's all the one password. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
And then something also that would be, while we're in here, something that would also be beneficial potentially is by default, I believe this just says public down here for the service codes. If you add MCOM as well, that will open up additional like WinLink nodes that you can connect to over VHF or HF. And you probably, in a non-emergency situation, you would probably want to use the public ones if at all possible. The MCOM ones, like, probably should be reserved in case of an actual emergency, or if you get like the okay from the person who runs that particular node. But yeah, so as well as run, I don't know if I can reply to something in here, but yeah, actually something that's also useful is there is support for attachments. So say, try to find something in here. Oh yeah, so photo for drill. So you can view attachments, and you can also send attachments in WinLink emails. And you can tell there's an attachment in the email by this little what paperclip that's next to the email. And if you see that, you can go ahead and click on attachments up top, and you'll see the list of attachments. And then like you can add new attachments. You can view existing ones. Well, if you're sending an email, you can add attachments. If you're viewing an email, you can view existing attachments. So as you can see, this particular one is a photo. And something to keep in mind as well is that the WinLink network restricts attachments to, I think the total size of all attachments to 120 kilobytes, simply because RF is fairly slow. And if at all possible, it's encouraged to resize any photos you have to say like 10 kilobytes or smaller. So we can actually, let's go ahead and show you guys how the resize will work. So say I was sending a new message and I wanted to add an attachment. So I'm going to see if I can find. So yeah, like this particular image here is 4,500 kilobytes. And it's showing red here, indicating that it's far too big to be sent. So if I click on edit resize image here, you can see that it's like it's a picture of my apartment pretty much, with a 25-foot pole and like a wire antenna. But as you can, there's various like options you can go here. You can crop, resize, rotate, and then if you mess up, you can restore the original message, the original attachment rather. So let's go ahead and resize. Here you can, and in here you can resize to particular file size. So say I want to resize to 10 kilobytes. I could type in 10 kilobytes here, change the size, and then it'll crank for a little bit. And as you can see, the current file size is now a little bit under 10. So, and then if I choose save, the actual physical like pixel size has gotten significantly smaller. But there's more, I think if you look really, really closely, there's more compression as well. But in general, it does make it so that it's small enough to send over. And if I go ahead and save changes, it's no longer showing red. And if this were over like 10 kilobytes, it would be yellow, indicating that it's maybe not something that's encouraged, but it will still allow you to send it. And then like you can delete. And if I decided I didn't want this attachment, I can go ahead and delete the attachment. Or if I wanted to view it and make sure that it was okay before sending it over, the open/view works. So as you can see, it's basically it's basically acceptable. So then I can go ahead and click finish. And as you can see, that JPEG is listed as one of the attachments. And you're not restricted to just pictures. You can also attach text files, Word documents, PDFs, etc. Keeping in mind the maximum file size. And then one other final thing with Winlink Forms is it supports auto conversion to PDF if you're sending to a non like Winlink address, say like you're sending to something outside the Winlink network. And that way, whoever you're sending it to doesn't need to have Winlink installed in order to view the form you just sent. So to set that up, you would go ahead and go to message HTML. Actually, no, not that one. Message template. Oh, sorry. Anyways, actually, I think it's, sorry. Yeah, I'll have to, I forget offhand where that setting is, but that is a setting you can actually set. Anyway, so moving on, we also have something called catalog requests. And it's basically email requests to the Winlink network for various like things that the network can provide. So the ones that would be most relevant for Aries would be actually let's go to you would go to the catalog requests to if in the settings menu and then Winlink catalog requests, and then you would get this window. And in like the forms, there's various categories, and then the queries under that category. So the ones that would be most relevant for Aries would be probably under Winlink 2K RMS, which is basically the frequency list. So you can update, if we were communicating over RF, this would let us download the latest like gateways and update the gateway list without using the internet. And then the other probably relevant thing would be the Winlink 2K nearby under the users. That would show you who else is in your area ready to receive messages. And then we'll talk in a little bit about how to set up the GPS functionality, because you'll end position report stuff, because that would be necessary in order to show up on here. But once you've figured out which ones you want to request, you can go ahead and double click on what you want, and it'll show up in the selections area. As you can see, I just double clicked on Winlink 2K nearby, and it shows up as Winlink 2K nearby. And then you can add multiple selections as well. So I can let's say I want the packet frequency list as well. So I have 2 different ones here. And then to remove an entry, you can double click on the entry from the selections. So let's go ahead and request packet, and then nearby. And then once you're done selecting, you can go ahead and post the request, and it'll add something in your outbox to that effect. And then you can go ahead and create a new session. Let's wait for that to disappear. And then start, and it'll send off the request. And then I had sent, so that was because I sent the message to myself. And and something you'll notice as well is that it didn't actually download that message. Like it knew that it was a duplicate message and it rejected that message. So it didn't download, and thus it didn't take up the bandwidth that could have been used by other people. But yeah, so the request was sent. So after maybe a few seconds usually, but maybe give it a minute or 2 at most. But as you can see, and then once you restart the session, you can see we got responses back for both those requests. So we can go ahead and download those. And it shows that we received 2, which corresponds to the 2 requests catalog requests that we made. And then if we go in the inbox, you can see the response to each of those requests. So the Winlink 2K nearby one basically shows, it does as it's promised. It shows who's your closest Winlink operators. So since I'm doing this from home, I'm currently the closest, followed by KK6LJ and KD6QPP, and so on and so forth. And then something to keep in mind as well is you need to send a position report every 10 days to continue to appear on here. If you don't do that, eventually you'll completely fall off. So, and then also this other request is the packet, is the current listing of packet nodes. I think this is supposed to automatically get put into the current packet gateway list as well, or HF gateway list, as well as appearing here. That's something I'd have to double check on them later. But anyway, so the last thing I'll go ahead and talk about before we open it up to questions and demoing any possibly more advanced stuff if we have time, is something called position reports. And that allows you to report your position, your current position, to the Winlink network. And by reporting to the Winlink network, it also forwards it on to the APRS network. So I can go ahead and show what the APRS one looks like. I forget how recently I did it, but so as you can see here, it shows up as it shows up with well, actually I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but first off, you basically, so first off, I should talk about how to actually send that position report. There's a couple ways you can do it. Either way, you'd be going to settings, GPS position reports, and then actually, let's gonna turn on. Currently I have it set up for to use a GPS program that I downloaded from the Play Store called I believe it's Bluetooth GPS output, And if your computer has Bluetooth capability and you have an Android phone, I definitely recommend it. It seems to work pretty well with Winlink. But if you don't want to rely on the cell network or having another, like carrying your cell phone around with you, there's also various Winlink dongles, or rather GPS dongles you can you can buy online and install Windows drivers. As long as it supports the typical NMEA GPS format, then it'll work with Winlink Express. But anyway, so now that I have the GPS turned on, you can go to Settings, GPS Position Reports. And as you can see here, like it's currently retrieving the GPS strings from my phone in real time. And if you had a dongle, it would be getting it from the dongle in real time as well. And then the other yeah, and then the other way you can do it is you can choose none, and then manually specify your latitude and longitude, and your speed and course. That would be useful if, say, you had another GPS device and you don't have the cable to plug it into your computer. Then you can go ahead and manually enter that data here. And then along with your position information, you can also enter like a short text. Like basically, because I'm currently doing the drill right now where I have my tactical call sign listed here. But normally I would have like my current city and area of the city. But you can put whatever you want as long as it's within 148 characters. And then once you've either manually entered your GPS data here, or copied from the GPS, you can go ahead and click Post Report, and it'll post to the outbox, and then it'll send to the network on the next connection to Winlink. So yeah, now I can go to the APRS. As you can see here, like it basically got my current position as well as the short text that I had entered earlier. And then it also shows up on the user positions page in Winlink, winlink.org. That is under positions here. And then when you open that, and then when you click on that, you'll see like these pins that are everywhere, and it'll show your current, like the current positions of everyone on the network. So say we zoom into San Diego. And then you can put like your mouse over various pins, and it'll show that same short text when the call sign, when that position report was received, and the latitude and longitude. But yeah. And then just like with the catalog requests, it sends an acknowledgement back when it's received and acknowledged the position report. And if you happen to send a duplicate report, say like if you haven't moved and you just wanted to refresh your position, you'll get a message saying duplicate position. But I believe it still like will update your the position, and it'll re-report it. But yeah, that's all I have in terms of the basic slides. Does anyone have any questions?
I do, if it's okay.
Sure.
It's probably so redundantly dumb, but I'll still ask it. In the very beginning, when we were setting things up, can you just go back to your regular Winlink screen?
Sure.
Okay. They always, Rob always asks that we make a personal file, and I have one on mine that says March 2020 drill, just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I put that in. Now, how how do you get all of the data into those files? What do you go up to move to and saved items at the top and then go down to the box?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, but I have done that before, but nothing ever ends up in my folder. I cheated on it, so when I sent the 309 in, it all looked cool. But how, do you just leave it on saved items? You just leave it on that while you're doing the drill? And then do the items go there automatically?
So the way that I do it is I might be less organized than most, but the way that I usually do it is for drills is I just let everything go to the inbox. And then at the end of the drill, when I'm sending the 309, I go ahead and send I click on the ones that I want to move. Say I want to move these two.
Okay.
And then I go to the drop down and choose the March 2020 drill. And then I can click on move to.
Okay, so there is no real way to make them automatically go into that box while you're doing it. It has to be done manually.
There might be a way. I haven't really that would be something I'd have to investigate more. But
because I brought it up at one of the ARES meetings when Mike Burton was there, and there were so many other questions that he never got back to answering it. So I still don't have an answer. I think it's supposed to be able to feed into them automatically.
Right, I would think so too. So that would be
Wait, did you see that box you just had down at the bottom? There was one thing that said automatically forward to specified addresses.
So this is for, say, I wanted everything that I got in Winlink to be forwarded to my regular email.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing.
I understand. Okay. Yeah, that's not the same as moving them to a folder.
Right. Oh yeah, and to manage your personal folders, you can go ahead and under settings, add personal folder. And then you can create a new person. You can either create a new one by filling it in and choosing update, or deleting one by choosing one down here and choosing update as. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I'll have to go in and I'll have to do more research on that and see if that's possible.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, for the PDF auto convert, I found the setting. It's in settings, then form settings.
Oh, there it is. Cool, thank you. Yeah, I remember seeing it before, but I didn't. I think I blanked when I was trying to find it earlier. But yeah, basically, if you check this box, any forms that you send outside of Winlink to an internet email will automatically become a PDF. Yeah, let's go. Now that we found the setting, we can go ahead and demo that now. And then also, there's also a way, before I go ahead and demo, there's also a way you can have your favorite forms up here, so you don't have to keep clicking on select template and going through here. And to do that, not that one. It's message set favorite templates, and you can set up the 4 templates, and you can give each of them a unique name, and then you click on browse, and you go ahead and go through this selection process one time, and then it'll automatically populate the file name for it. And then once you have that set up, it'll show up as options here. So yeah, for the PDF, we can go ahead and we can go ahead and send the Winlink email as normal. And then it's gone ahead and sent it. So, and it might take like a minute to actually receive. Make sure it didn't bounce back.
Monir, am I able to search within a message? Like I have a long email that I just received, all the VARA stations, and I just want to search for maybe a San Diego one. Is there a way to search inside messages, long ones especially?
I'm not actually seeing it. Like
I don't see find or search.
Like something you could do is you can right click. Yeah, it's kind of not great, but you can right click and select all, and then open up like Notepad or something, and then search in like Notepad. Like it's not great, but like that is an option.
Roger. Okay.
But yeah, so since we're talking about like station listings, we can go. I can go ahead and show you what that looks like while we're still waiting for that PDF. So like say I go to Packet Winlink. Up here, it's going to take a minute because I don't have my radio plugged in right now. But yeah, I'm doing this on a Microsoft Surface 3 tablet, so it'll be a bit. But yeah, so if you open like Packet or like VAR HF or etc., and you go to like channel selection, then it does show the list of. It'll show for Packet at least. It'll show all the stations within 160 kilometers of you.
Oh, good.
So this is all the one. So this basically shows all the San Diego area ones, and I believe 160 kilometers is far enough that it'll show some of the LA ones as well. And then for the HF ones, it'll show basically all of them, but like you can sort based on distance. So or like which ones are more likely to reach, for you to be able to reach based on current propagation.
Now, would it only know the distance if you had submitted a position report at least once? Because otherwise, how would it know where you were, right? Where you are.
You can you could do a position report. You can also go into Winlink Express setup and set your grid square by hand.
Roger.
And it'll go, yeah, and it'll go based on that too.
Okay, good.
When you show the channel selections, it'll show the closest station to the furthest away based on your distant location, either by GPS or your grid square location.
Okay, so yeah, so I just got the Winlink message. And yeah, well, the ICS 213. And just like with the regular, sending it to a regular WinLink user, you get it in plain text inside the email. And then you also get the PDF version as well. So like the PDF version basically looks exactly like what we just filled out now. But yeah, so any other questions?
What's the least expensive way to connect WinLink to a handheld? And I'm in Chula Vista, you're in Mira Mesa. Where would you be connecting to if you only had a handheld, like a VHF or UHF?
So there's a, if I'm inside, I really can only connect to the packet digipeater on Palomar Mountain. And through that, I can go to whatever other nodes use that packet repeater.
Do you need a SignalLink like USB device as well, or can you just use your handheld?
You probably need like a SignalLink or similar.
What if you're outside? What if you're on top of you're at a park and you got clear line of sight to Mexico, straight down to Mexico, north to mountaintops, east to mountaintops?
If you're like on top of the mountain, you can like, you'll definitely be better able to connect directly to various nodes. My experience has been at least inside of my apartment, I can only connect to that packet repeater.
Mm-hmm.
I have been able to connect directly to one of the XC2BNC ones.
Mm-hmm. Mexican ones?
With the Mexican, the TJ ones with, by taking like a tripod and extending it by like 9 or 10 feet just outside my door.
Right.
And that gets it over the roof level enough to be able to connect to one of those.
So what hardware are you still using? Are you using any hardware other than a handheld radio or?
For me, I have standardized, well, it is possible to do with a handheld. You would need like cables for it. And like, you would either need some sort of like device like SignalLink or the ability to enable Vox on your handheld for it to automatically go into transmit mode.
Okay.
I can tell you what I have been using lately for my setup. I don't know if that will be helpful at all.
Sure.
Lately, I've been using Elecraft KX3 for HF, WinLink, as well as VHF on 2 meter, since I have the 2 meter board for it.
Okay.
And that only does 3 watts, but I find that the 3 watts is actually enough to get to the power, get to basically most of the repeaters around here, since they're on mountaintops.
Mm-hmm.
And I have used the packet repeater through like the Palomar Mountain packet repeater through that before. And I've tried both with a SignalLink and with Vox and turned on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do that, there's a program you need to have on your computer as well called UZ7HO, like packet modem.
Okay. How do you spell that guy?
Uniform Zulu 7 Hotel Oscar.
Oh, okay.
And if you just Google that with WinLink, there's actually there's instructions on how to download the software, install it on your computer, etc.
If I can intervene for that question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can use the TH-D74 only on Bluetooth, because connecting directly with the USB, it has some issues with WinLink. But you can use also the TH-D72. It's a good radio with TNC. So you can use only your computer and the radio, and that's it.
Oh, that's what I use. I have a D72 as well, and that's definitely a nice feature. I believe it also, there's something in the radio settings as well that will let it like behave as a GPS. I don't know if it will send GPS data over the serial port or if it just shows on this display.
Yeah, it can. It can. Not simultaneously, but you can do it for one thing, then got your position, and then change it to TNC and use it as for sending the email.
Cool, good to know. I'll have to try that next time. Yeah, like the phone tends to be the easiest for me, but of course I don't want to rely on the cell network being around if there's an actual emergency. Where like say an earthquake that takes out the cell network or something. But yeah, thank you for that. Does anyone have any other questions? Anything you want me to show you?
I had a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm in Mira Mesa as well, and I am able to connect with the Red Cross gateway directly. Works very well. But I understand that during some of these drills, these get so busy that it's very difficult to get something through.
How high is your antenna?
It's on my roof.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to try it. I have a roll-up J pole, and like a longer pole, like I showed in the picture earlier. Maybe I'll try that at some point and see if maybe if I get it higher, I'll be able to connect to the Red Cross as well.
But excuse me, I did also have a question about trying to connect to the one in Mexico, the XE2 something 10.
XE2 B and C.
Via the Palomar, one of the Palomar machines.
Yep.
And I've been told by someone who's been trying to do it that way, there's some trickiness to that, and I didn't know if you'd be addressing things like that on a different time, or have you used that? Tried that?
So I've tried that, and I actually maybe it was in my experience I haven't really needed to set anything special for that, but I think I know what that person's talking about. If you go to the settings for under packet, there's like various settings here. The delay might need to be adjusted, as what I remember offhand, since it is going through it's not going through direct but via like a repeater. For me, like I think 400 is the default, or at least it's what is set for me on my computer, and it seems to be doing okay. But yeah, your mileage may vary, and like maybe like try adjusting the delay and see if that like up or down, and see if that actually helps at all. And if it doesn't help, maybe like we could investigate further.
Okay, maybe I'll correspond with you on the side on that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
That was a great presentation. Thanks, Munir.
Cool. Thanks.
I really
Excellent.
Okay, so hopefully, today was just like basics on how to set stuff up. In the future, if I can figure out how to do it like in an efficient way, we can probably try doing like setting up Winlink Express for like various RFs, like VHF and HF. But there's a lot of different radio and TNC and like configuration combinations that could make it like extremely complicated. So I would be interested in hearing thoughts on how that could be best accomplished.
Well, Munir, like in my case, I'm 5 miles from the border. I can see the like antenna hill from my street, so I can tune like 3 different frequencies, and I can hear it sounds like a modem kind of.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking I could just set up my HT and Vox. It's like a $65 Baofeng. I've got a computer. It has audio. So somehow they could, it could negotiate and send a tiny little message. But yeah, I'm just at a loss of like, so what's next? It seems like there's just so many options. I don't know how it's configured, how the Mexican radios are configured, and what I need to like make them all talk. So that's like the next step for me. That's why I tuned in tonight. I was like, hey, this is great. Like, get a little overview and figure out next steps to actually make it work. Because I've experimented with Telnet and sent emails to myself, and that's not that interesting.
Right. So like the most important, I forget. So the most important thing would be to get like something that would that'll be able to basically do the push to talk on your handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that would typically be like something like a Signal Link. And then I think there's like I forget what it's called, but there's like another sort of like sound modem interface or sound card interface sort of thing.
Yeah, but I
That's
think I should have to spend like $120 just to do an email test to say that, oh, okay, hey, this works, right?
right.
You should be able to do it just with software, right?
Like the advantage of the Signal Link is that it actually like it provides a separate sound card from your normal sound card, so you don't, for instance, so you don't accidentally send Windows startup sounds or Windows beep sounds over the air, which may or may not have happened before for me.
Right.
And also the WinLink or Signal Link will like detect the outgoing audio and trigger the push to talk on your radio for you, so you don't have to like turn on Vox or like manually push to talk on your radio yourself.
Right.
I know on my KX3 at least I've had pretty good luck using like a $3 Hamfest sound card with like Vox turned on. And
Okay.
in theory, there's nothing, as long as you have the right cable, there's nothing preventing, and you can do Vox on your handheld. There shouldn't be anything preventing you from doing a similar setup.
Very cool. Yeah, because I mean, I'm just messing around. I don't need to spend more than 100. I need to
Right.
spend more than $15, right, to
Right.
play with the technology. I'm not gonna like drop $100 and be like, oh, let's, like that was fun. Okay, garbage.
Mhm.
It's pointless to drop money if it's you're just gonna experiment.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, cool. So when you say like a Hamfest sound card, you mean like a sound card you found at a Hamfest, or that's a brand name?
No, it's one that I found at a Ham. I went to Yuma earlier this year, and it was literally like it was literally like a USB sound card that's like the size of like a flash stick.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were selling
interface with the radio. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I have a solution for Brian. You can use Vara FM. I think it could be the replacement, and maybe not you won't use a packet. You will use Vara.
Okay.
But Vara FM with your Baofeng.
Right.
And you could use your own sound card for the computer. You just maybe do the interface and disable a Windows sound, so you don't spend money on another sound card. So maybe Vara FM is the solution, and I think in Tijuana they have the Vara FM working.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I like that idea. That's cool.
So I will check and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I just tried to download it, and I'm in my Sophos home like dashboard trying to figure out how to allow it, because it says it's a malware. So I'm just trying to like figure out, well, how do I get my antivirus to allow me to download it? So yeah, I just tried to download it. So yeah, that looks like it might work for me. I'll just have to figure out how to tell Sophos it's not a threat.
I know I just use the regular Windows, whatever comes with Windows 10. And I noticed that it doesn't like the publisher of the, whenever I update VAR, it doesn't like the publisher of the installer. So
Yeah, I think I can just tell it. It's probably just not signed, but I think I can tell it. Because it downloaded it, but it failed to scan, it says. So I'll figure it out here.
Okay, but yeah, speaking of RFM, with that outdoor setup that I tried before, I was able to connect. It looked like it connected, but like it just like kept giving me knacks, or kept sending out knacks. So I think it's just a matter of the antenna that I was using wasn't high enough, and I need to just get it a little bit higher. But that's something I'll play with, and maybe I'll be able to, next session I'll be able to like tell you guys more about that, hopefully.
Cool. Well, this has been a good demo. Thank you.
No worries. And if that's it for just quick one last call for comments before we close out.
There's a few comments in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to see them.
Oh, I had all the video minimized except for the active talking person. Let me see if I can try to find the. Oh, it got hidden when I guess it got hidden when I shared the screen. So so cool. So yeah, it sounds like Heather's comment. It sounds like it works on iOS as well. Like so that's good to hear. So it's something that will work on both platforms. Or rather, actually no. It sounds like you're just manually entering the coordinates. So instead of having Winlink Express pull it, so which works as well. And then yeah, and then like I guess that's also for the event inbox thing. That's also a good strategy, like to move everything that's not immediately relevant to another folder, and then have everything in your inbox only be for that for the drill. That's definitely something and like a possibility to keep in mind as well. But yeah, sorry. Yes, apologies for not seeing the chats earlier. But yeah, any, I guess one final call for video for what's it called? Comments.
No, that was good.
Cool. Okay. I guess we'll go ahead and close out here. Thank you guys. For attending. I will. I'll go ahead and stop sharing now. And after I finish the meeting, I'll figure out how the recording works, and hopefully I'll be able to post this up online somewhere. Maybe either on the ARES website or possibly like YouTube somewhere. But yeah, and I'll email out to the list when I know when the next time we're gonna have another session. So yeah, once again, thank you guys.